Welcome to Black, Queer, and Divine, a space where conversation serves as nourishment. Each course is an invitation to join us in community. I'm Uzo, and together we'll journey through stories, intimacy, heartbreak, art, and community, honoring the beauty of what it means to be Black, queer, and divine. So to help us ground this idea of love as liberation, I invited a few friends to share what that means for them. So once again, thank you so much for being here.
Yes.
I appreciate you all.
Appreciate y'all pulling up.
So let's get into it. I have a question that I would love to kind of put into the space for us to talk about a little bit. And the first question is, what did you learn about love growing up? And how is it different from what you now know about love? There's a second part to that, but we'll start there first.
I'll start, I guess. I think what I learned as a child was from my parents, right? So my dad is traditional Black man, provider, strong-willed. So my version of love was discipline. It was expectations. It was seeing him as a provider and understanding that that was how he showed love. I would also say support. I'm an athlete, so my parents never missed a basketball game.
Wow.
Never missed a soccer game, never missed a volleyball game.
Wow.
In all of my years.
So you're saying what you look like is a secure attachment person.
I need someone who will show up as they say they will. Because that is what my parents have always done. And that's the kind of person I am. I'm the kind of person that I could be arguing with my partner. If I'm gonna meet you at the grocery store at 5 o'clock, I will still be there. I may not say nothing to you, but I'm there so that you never have to worry about being abandoned. I don't play like that. So
I remember I got in trouble really bad, and the cops brought me to my mom.
come on, guys,
Brought me to, and my dad answered the door, and he just stood there. He opened me, let me in. He came down to the room, and he's like, "You feel tough?" And that's all he asked. Calm as all get out. You feel tough, and he just hugged me. He's like, "Whatever made you become so out of pocket, so out of your character, there's space for that."
Wow.
And so now in my adult life, I show up in love and I always have space for every part of my partner or whomever I choose to love. I have space for my friends. I have space for my family. But I also had to remember to have space for myself. And I feel like people forget to have space for self so that you can continue to show up in a way that allows others to have the space to be vulnerable. And I think vulnerability comes from that. And that's what allowed my dad to be that still force, because you could just be grounded in that vulnerability without judgment, without animosity or anything. You just knew it was always coming from a place of love. So before he disciplined me, it was just like love. And when I get into arguments, say with whatever partner I have, it's just like I'm like, it comes from a place of love, so I want to ground it. I'm here, I'm vulnerable, and you will always have space. And I think that's what started it, and that's how I show up now. It hasn't really shifted. It just kind of manifested differently.
And for me, my reference is my last set of foster parents. I ended up getting into a beautiful foster home at 9, and so my parents are the folks that had me from 9 to 18 years old. And so they were older is also another context. And so my father got married with my mom when they were both, I think, like 21, 22. And they stayed together until she passed away, and got to enjoy 40 years of marriage, and so I guess like witnessing that, there's something like subconscious that made me think that you can start love and grow with a person. You don't necessarily have to have all your shit together or whatever. But if love is true, you kind of like, that's what you commit to and you stick with.
So our last question is, if you were making a meal that represents love for you, what would it be?
Mine would be a slow smoked turkey leg.
Ooh!
Okay.
You better be with me when I'm right, okay? And then for my
love
sides,
that.
I need the greens that been simmering in the pot all day. And I don't want yams, I want a sweet potato.
Okay.
Specifically.
Big difference.
With the butter and the brown sugar. Right? I need cornbread. So it's hearty, smoky, sweet. Then I need a little cup of Kool-Aid, I ain't gonna lie.
Listen,
I need to bring it back home. I need a very I need a hug in my meal.
that's your
I need
love.
a hug.
Okay.
My meal, because that's already a, you know, my meal is going to be a pot pie.
Yes!
And I mean a homemade pot pie because, like I said, we smoke. So
Right.
now we got ingredients that we throwing into one area, and they have to marry well, right? So you got ingredients that actually pair well together. And that's what love is to me, like ingredients that pair well together too, right? And you put that layering on top to seal in. Foundation, you know, you put it in the oven, you let it do its thing, and you're patient, you're waiting, and you're anticipating what it's gonna taste like. You already have a thought of what it tastes like, but what if it surprises you? It's probably your best one yet. You know, and it comes out as steamy, you still gotta be patient. It's got a little slit in it.
Come on now. I'm over here like, I wonder if it's good. Is it good?
I'm trying to find a meal, but all I can think about is dessert.
Love can feel like dessert.
It feels like a cobbler. It feels like a cobbler. Love is a peach cobbler. You know?
Hey, I love it.
Yes, love is a peach cobbler. Just because it's a classic, you know, it's accessible. It's affordable. It's not a high demand, you know what I'm saying? Like it's something that you can get the peaches from the backyard, you know.
Well, thank you so much. That's like I feel full.
Right.
You feel
It's a full course.
Wait, who got yours? What?
Come on, let's go.
What is mine? I would say warm cornbread
Let's
with
go.
butter. Yeah, that's what. I can't make it. I don't bake, you know, but that's what love feels like for me. Yeah, warm. It has to be warm.
Warm with the butter.
It has to have
If it
some
ain't
butter.
warm, I'm gonna throw it back.
Like,
Right, 'cause
what we
you
doing?
doing? What did you doing?
Like, why are we doing it if it's not
Attitude.
warm? I don't want it.
Looks like it.
Yeah.
What we gonna have for dinner?
I'm like 15 away.
Very big question.
I gotta go to work tonight.
You still work on Sundays? I thought you only.
Doors are open. Whatever.
I thought.
So I didn't go to work today. Yesterday, last night, because I knew I still had to get up at 8. So I didn't go nothing last night because I already knew like if I would have did last night, I would have been home till 6 or 7. Then we wouldn't have to get up to be here. Then I would have to be here all day. Go back to work tonight.
It doesn't make it up.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm sorry about that. I was on the phone, but
Oh, it's okay. You didn't miss nothing. Put the candle down. We were just telling you that. We was just telling you that we can't find a top.
Yeah.
So we can just
It's an outdoor candle. Like,
Right.
it's an electric candle.
I thought we were on the same page.
Before we begin, I want to honor this space that we're creating together. This is a brave, sacred, and joyful space for truth-telling, curiosity, and care. We speak truth with love, we listen with care, and we honor each other's stories as medicine. Your softness, your power, and your divinity are welcome here. We speak from the eye of our lived experience, and we listen with open hearts. And above all, we remember we are Black, we are queer, we are divine, and we are love is liberation in motion. So today's course is called The Spice. And so it's gonna be a little playful, a little spicy, and a whole lot of honest. So what we're gonna be doing today is we're gonna be diving into queer dating realities. So sometimes it's magical and sometimes it's chaos, and as some of us I'm sure know, it can be both right before breakfast, right? So we wanna just take a deep breath, we wanna exhale all of our expectations, we just wanna grab something to drink, chop it up, and we're gonna get right into it. So, you know, part of the dating experience, yes, it's messy, right? And a lot of it, we realize you're dating people that really are your mirror. So it is a lot about self-reflection and where you really are, right? So something I want us to think about, and I'll kind of answer as we go, is when have you dated from a space of hunger? Come on, let me finish. Okay. When have you dated from a place of hunger versus a place of wholeness?
Yeah. I remember going to therapy once when I was trying to save my marriage. And I remember the therapist mirroring back to me and saying to my partner at the time, maybe she doesn't have a bottom. And I was just like, oh! I felt so exposed. I felt so like, I've been out here just hungry and like with a bottomless, with no boundaries, no like, because when I love someone, this is where when I love someone, I would let them in completely. So you can move in, all the way in, and like there would be, I would just have settled for a little crumb of a space for myself in my own life and in my own, and I'm okay with that. You know, I'm okay with that, but I'm not. It's not okay. So yeah, I definitely, not until I left my marriage did I understand how to date and how to love from a place of fullness. Because I had to go on a journey to really get to know who I am before I can say, hey, this is actually what these are my boundaries. This is what I have capacity for, and this is what I don't have capacity for. And that's no one else's job but my own. And I didn't know that. So I now date from a place of wholeness, but it took a journey of getting to know who I am and what I like and what I have capacity for. And yeah, so now we chilling.
Right.
We chilling.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. What I thought of was I dated out of starvation.
You weren't even hungry. You were
Beyond
Come on,
hungry.
somebody.
But I learned through that the why, because that's my biggest thing. I'm a why person, right? And I knew that as a child there were things that were lacking, which is where the hunger started.
Right.
And then I wasn't fed during my adolescence, into my adult life, into my 30s, and then into my 40s, right? And now, sitting back in a retrospective moment, I realized what I was looking for, and when you think about even just hunger and starvation, what it does to the body, right? Your belly distends, it's filled with gas, it's just air, it's just air. And I was allowing people to breathe some things into me, and I was just filling and filling, but no substance. And I found myself floating away. And then I had to re-anchor myself, and that's the space that I sit now.
Okay. This thing about this hunger is interesting. I love what you shared, Uzo, when it comes to realizing bottomlessness. I feel like the thing that I was hungry for might have been a sense of purpose, or a sense of like edification. And wanting to transform another person, transform myself, transform a situation. Like, I feel like I'm such a dreamer, you know? And so even as I think about like this idea of like being hungry for something, and like I'm trying to think like, what would I be hungry for? What am I hungry for? I was just not in touch with what I need. It was just like whatever I can do to offer, to support, to hold, felt more validating. And so I'm like, maybe that's what I was hungry for, like the validation.
Dominant energy is A. Soft control is B.
Damn, that's soft control.
What?
Be creeping.
It's like
On three. 1, 2, 3.
right.
Because there's a tact to this. You gotta be able to
I'm used to this.
You gotta be able to do this. You know what I mean? This is one of those that you can tell me what to do. You can tell me what to do.
But like but yes, but like this though with the softness, this feels like this self-control feels like sexy.
It
It feels like a sexy version of this.
Sexy.
It feels like a
Yes.
sexy version of dominance, and I like that.
I like someone that speaks without saying anything. You know, I need that. I need
Listen,
your eyes to tell me to sit down.
Because
I might.
listen, my thing
It's
is,
the contrast, I think. It depends on like what's new for you. This is the top of the ritual.
Spinning around a fever dream. You see me red, you see me green. You in for the ride of your life. Who know what gon' happen?
I'm very excited. I'm good. I'm good to. I'm happy to be here. I'm very happy to be in this space with you all and to talk about some goodness. Yeah.
Yes.
Sure. Well, before we begin, I want to honor the space we're creating together. And this is a brave, sacred, and joyful space for truth-telling, curiosity, and care. We speak our truth with love, listen with care, and honor each other's stories as medicine. Your softness, your power, and your divinity is welcome here. We speak from the I, which is our lived experience, and we listen with open hearts. Yes? Can we all agree?
yes.
And above all, we remember that our love is liberation in motion. So, if we could just go ahead and ground ourselves in the space, I invite you to sit up nice and tall, closing your eyes and focusing on your third eye point, which is situated right at your, right between your brows, placing your hands wherever you feel the most comfortable, letting your breath be natural at this moment. Taking a deep inhale in and filling your belly with air, inhale. Exhale softly. 2 more times here, inhale deep. Hold it, 2, 3, 4, exhale softly. Last time, make it count, make it big, make it worth it, inhale deep. Hold it, 2, 3, 4, exhale. Whenever you're ready, you can return back to this space by opening your eyes. How'd that feel? Good. Like a hug. That's what it's supposed to feel like. It's supposed to like remind you where you are in your body and your being in the space in which you're occupying, right? So welcome back to Black, Queer, and Divine, where we explore love, spirit, and liberation through a Black queer lens. Today's episode is about sacred friendships. Those bonds that hold us when the world doesn't. Those relationships that feel like home. Whether you're surrounded by a soul tribe or you've been walking the path of solitude lately, this episode is for you. So give it up for yourselves that you're here. You said yes to being here. Okay, right. Right? So if friendship had a love language, what would yours be?
That love language is like, we're not on our phones.
Right.
You know, if it's a video call, that's one thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if it's like you're constantly checking your phone, you're scrolling TikTok while we're trying to talk and connect, that really, for me, gives me the ick.
Right.
Yeah. So to like truly be present with one another and be like, this is actually where I want to be. Like, I want to be in presence with you. I really want to be in deep conversation with you, or whatever that may be. It is very meaningful for me.
Yeah, I would say two of my love languages when it comes to friendship would be quality time and words of affirmation. Yeah, quality time because you get to exchange energy and you get to talk about shit, things that make sense and things that don't make sense, and be able to kind of commune, eat some food, kind of decompress and release some stuff, and I love that. Yeah, those are my two.
But what's one moment where your friendship helped heal you or see yourself more clearly?
I don't know, there's a kindness in me that that sometimes people can take advantage of. It is what it is, you know how your strengths are next to your weaknesses are next to your strengths, and I feel like the way that my friend talks with me about this part of myself is with such care and attention, and it helps they can hold the nuance of wanting to continue to be kind, right? I think that's something people can relate to, but still being but this is how you can keep this part of yourself
without compromising, yourself. And so they'll just say little things to me that like affirm that kindness within me, and let it live. Is complicated to explain, but basically they help me articulate it in a safe space.
I had a friend who told me, he said, it's hard being there for you. He said, you call and you got an issue, and you'll talk through the issue and blah, 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 right? And then I'll talk to you next week, and you kind of solved it and moved on. He said, so I never feel like I need to check back in because it seemed like you just moved on. And I've had to let him know, no, I ain't moved on. It's still right here, and I had to be more honest about it, not always answering I'm fine when I'm not, being like, oh, you're right, you know what, I'm having a bad day. And allow your friends to do that. I think I've realized that some of the fences, I built them myself.
And there's levels.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like the more I've decided to be vulnerable with my friends and say, listen, I need this from you, they have shown up.
What does it really mean to be in community with friends? What is that, like, what's the intention behind it? How are you connected to people? And what is the really sacred part about it? Yeah. So I'm so grateful for, like, being in community now and, like, with the friends that I have outside of this, really being able to understand that we're being intentional with our time. We're being intentional on how we're showing up on purpose in a relationship. So I'm feeling really good about, like, landing in this space now at my big but not so big age.
Yeah. Fucking shit. Leave me alone.
And your medicine ain't kicked in. We've been here for a minute too.
I know.
This is our shot right here.
Right here.
That's a shot?
This looks so good. This looks so good.
Recording it?
With me like this.
I'm recording, and then no, I can see you, but when you sit up and you're like talking or like
It's
just
like
kind of
Over the shoulder vibe. Okay.
And then hold on, let me.
Would I be fine to do this? Like if I were to sit back,
Lean back and chill.
would I be fine to do this?
I would prefer you to do that.
Oh, okay. Alright.
Lee, you so fine, bro. You're so fine. Oh my god.
Welcome back to Black, Queer, and Divine, where we explore the sacred intersections of love, spirit, and identity through a Black queer lens. Today's episode, Course 2, The Nectar, is an offering, a meditation on divine intimacy. Take a deep breath with me. Feel that breath as a soft prayer for connection, for tenderness, for truth. So, when you think about divine intimacy, what does that mean to you in your own practice?
For me, I would say that divine intimacy is like the process of a soul connection. I believe that there are people who resonate with us on a soul level, and when I am able to be in my integrity and be connected to my own essence and my own power, I then attract that also in others, like people that match that energy. And then the magic that happens between us, and the magic that happens between me and me actually also is what divine intimacy for me is.
You know what it feel like? It feel like a calm nervous system. That's what it feel like. It feels like a calm nervous system. It feels like conversations without a bunch of anxiety. It feels like being able to establish your boundaries without fear. It feels like having a conversation and knowing that you're both actively working together through it versus fighting each other, right? I definitely come from a space of having a lot of anxiety in relationships. And so I can speak firsthand that it is a lot of having a calm nervous system.
I think it's helping answer a question that I've been actually debating myself with a close circle of friends in recent days, and that's what is the spark and what does it mean, and should you listen to it? And I don't know about you, but you know, when I do have these moments of strong attraction, it's often I often experience it as really intense eye contact, but in that eye contact, it's like the rest of the world gets soft, and you know, it's like almost like the other person is the only thing in focus. And I was describing this to someone, and like, oh yeah, you know, like time stops. Yeah. And I was like, okay, so it's real. I didn't make that up. That's a thing. You know, and I was like, okay, but then we dated and they were trash. So what about that? And so it's helping me realize, yeah. So maybe maybe the spark is the body saying yes. And then the question is what does it feel like when the soul says yes? And I think for me, and I'm speaking from the vantage of someone who's now been with my partner for 15 years, married 10, I think that maybe the soul connection is when no matter what transpires, you want to stay. And that feels like the right choice, like not like, can someone get her together and tell her to walk out already? You know, just like, no, like this is worth the struggle. And I think that that sublime certainty that this is exactly where you're supposed to be, and whatever the trials, the tribulations, whatever you need to fix about how you communicate or how you solve problems, or how much control you relinquish, like whatever those lessons are, you better fucking learn them, because what you really want to do is smell this person's pheromones tomorrow, and like be all like cuddled up in their neck. And yeah.
Okay. But you really gonna get it together because you really want to smell the pheromones. So stop playing. I'm gonna use that.
You really want to.
You really want the pheromones. Why you tripping?
Don't lose sight of the lesson.
Come on, pheromone.
Come on. Being here, I really appreciate you all for coming, for taking time, making time, and showing up in this space to create this beautiful thing that we're working on. I'm deeply grateful and really moved, and your commitment to showing up. And yesterday was great. We had a great time, and looking forward to today's magic as well. So thank you so much. Cheers to you all.
Cheers.
Oh, wait.
All right, welcome.
Get them out.
Make sure we.
A little bit for the ancestors.
Oh,
My glass right here.
You see me red, you see me green. You in for the ride.